you for all the good you do. The Outstanding Achievement Award. The Outstanding Achievement Award recognizes alumni who have made remarkable and lasting contributions in their field. Susan Curran Lavrakas, will you please come forward? Did I get close on most of them? Curran, okay. Susan graduated from Hamline in 1971, having majored in political science. After graduation, she embarked on a 45-year career in the national security. She served as an intelligence officer with the CIA, did graduate studies in international relations at the University of Southern California, at the university, and conducted research at the RAND Corporation before joining Northrop in 1982 and BAE Systems in 2003. Exposure to the issue of impending science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which we commonly call STEM today, workforce shortages, ignited her passion to address this challenge at the U.S. national security as a challenge to our national security, and especially to inspire more females and minorities to explore STEM opportunities. She's devoted the last decade to ensuring more youths have been encouraged to pursue these opportunities in STEM. The Aerospace Industries Association, or the AIA, is the premier trade association of the U.S. aviation, space, and defense contractors. In her role as Director of Workforce at the AIA, Susan led coordination of STEM workforce efforts among their 300-plus member companies and collaboration with other stakeholders such as higher education, K-12 institutions, federal and state governments. After residing mostly in the Washington, D.C. area, for obvious reasons, right? Since graduating from college, Susan and her husband, Paul, relocated to Hudson, Wisconsin. You were in the midst of that when I called you, I think. It was excellent to see you.
Just packing up, right?
Made it safely. Susan, it is my pleasure to present you with this Outstanding Achievement Award.
Thank you all so much and good morning. I have to start by saying my husband, who always gives me very good advice, whenever I have an opportunity to speak in public, says to me, start with a joke. And I usually say, but I've got so much to say in so little time. So as I was thinking about his recommendation this week, mulling over how to deal with that, it came to mind that so many times in our marriage and our relationship over more than 30 years, he'll be quietly smiling, and I'll ask him, you know, what are you thinking about? And he'll say, I'm telling myself a joke. So in order to, I'm not going to tell you a joke. I would just ask you to channel your inner jokester, whether you do it now or later, so I can get on with saying the things that I think I need to say. Exactly 50 years ago, I lived a couple of blocks from here in Gorman House. And I was a freshman living with 7 other freshman women and a junior who was a psychology major. She was our RA. And speaking of Hamline experiences, during that first year at Hamline, I made some of the most important and lasting relationships of my life. And so I want to recognize 3 of my freshman cronies here. Lucy Bodzik, who was my roommate my first 2 years at Hamline and who is the reason we're here today. Carol Lacoste, Sugar Lacoste, who was also a housemate, and Denny Laufenberger, current mayor of Chanhassen. You've seen him in all the Prince coverage and other things. And Denny came to Hamline that spring of our freshman year. So these are longstanding friends of mine. I really appreciate your being here. When we were freshmen, it was the height of the Cold War, and our nation was embroiled in the Vietnam conflict, civil rights issues, and women's liberation were hot issues that were all around us on campus and in our society. So it was no accident that I became a political science major and have been concerned with those kinds of issues all my life: war and peace, civil rights, social justice, and so forth. I had chosen Hamline because it seemed to offer me the opportunities to be a part of a real community where I could explore both academic and non-academic interests and be involved in a broad range of activities. I was honored to be a presidential scholar. I served on the Student Congress. But it seemed like the Hamline community offered me the chance to be involved in anything that I really cared about, and that was what I most valued. In reference to Bob's comments about family, it didn't hurt that my dad was also a Hamline alumnus, so that's no coincidence. Hamline really did provide an environment where I knew, again, with reference to Bob's comments, I knew where I could really be known and know people from all walks of life and in every discipline. The faculty here, it didn't matter that I was a poli-sci major. I knew my religion professors and any others very well, and vice versa. The liberal arts education I received here really prepared me in ways I never could have predicted, not only for my career in national security affairs, but for life itself. My major in poli-sci developed a subject matter expertise that was truly invaluable in working in the intelligence community and in doing government relations on behalf of the aerospace industry. As was referenced, I spent the last 10 years of my career had the privilege of working on behalf of that industry and promoting STEM education. And I'll be honest with you about that. I think I got assigned to do the job because none of my colleagues wanted to. There was a committee that was being formed at the Aerospace Industries Association, and my then employer, BAE Systems, offered me to represent them on the committee. And when I got exposed to the significance of the issue, the fact that not enough American students were really interested in and performing well in math and science subjects, and how profoundly important this was to the future of our country as national security, economic issue, and so forth, I became extremely passionate about it. I cut my teeth on, the Soviet threat and how that was a challenge to our nation's survival and our well-being. And I thought that the STEM issue appeared to me to be as significant a threat, and it was one that was self-imposed. So I got really passionate about that assignment to the point that I put all the other responsibilities of things I'd been dealing with for years kind of on the back burner, and ended up chairing that committee within a year, and then, as was referenced, representing all of our member companies in this campaign to make sure that all students got the opportunity to know why math and science was important, that it could actually be very fun if you had a natural aptitude for it and applied yourself. You could have some of the coolest jobs on the face of the earth. So I've been involved in that deeply ever since. And part of the reason I became passionate was I was a girl who, from I think at least the 4th grade on, was pretty good at math and science. I used to love doing physics. I mean, who loves doing physics? But I did. But it just never crossed my mind that I could do that for a profession. That we didn't have rocket clubs back in my day. We didn't have robotics clubs and so forth. Fortunately, there are lots of opportunities and programs now that allow kids to dabble with these things and see a future. My brother Kevin is extremely adept at taking things apart and putting them together. I don't think it ever crossed your mind to become an engineer. He would have been an excellent engineer. So I've been going around trying to spread that gospel for the last 10 years. So as I said, it's a national security, economic, and social justice imperative that we ignite and nurture the abilities of all of our students, regardless of race, ethnicity, or gender, and expose them to the excellent employment opportunities that are out there. My passion has been to ensure that all students have the opportunity to learn and pursue careers in fields where their natural talents and interests lie. And my dream and objective for every young person is for every young person to be in a position to make an informed decision about their education and work life. Aerospace companies seek to employ the best and the brightest in a variety of STEM disciplines. But the leaders of the industry also know that just as important is to hire well-rounded individuals who are ethical and creative problem solvers and who can work well with others in collaboration and teamwork. Liberal arts education helps develop these traits of mind and behavior, and I think it's really important. I definitely believe in liberal arts education. When I was about 13, my dad had me read a book entitled On Being a Real Person, which in a nutshell is about the importance of integrity. I believe it's critically important to know who you are, to be clear about your values, and be true to yourself. Hamline provided an environment where I could explore the issues of our time, but also develop as a real person. My faculty advisor, Dr. James Linsky, gave me some of the best advice I've ever received. For example, since I had completed all the requirements for my major by the end of my junior year, he recommended that rather than loading up on additional poli-sci courses my senior year, that I should take some more literature and music and art, etc. And I did that. He said pointedly, there is more to life than work. As a workaholic, when I remembered that many years later, I really appreciated the wisdom of his advice. I did as he said, and it immeasurably enriched my life. So I thank Dr. Lindsay